I've been playing video games for a long time. When I was young, I started playing games on systems like the Commodore 64 and the Atari 2600. In part due to this, and maybe also just due to my personality, I tend to like a wide variety of games. This includes games that are old and a lot of people may have forgotten about, or just wouldn't really be willing to try today. That's why one of the things I want to do on my channel is not just recommend games that have been released recently, but also some of the games from the past that I have enjoyed, and still find enjoyable to this day. That's why today's gold star game is Wolfenstein 3D. Wolfenstein 3D was first released in 1992 by id Software for MS-DOS. Today, the best place to find it is on Steam for $4.99 or GOG.com for $7.99 packaged with Spear Destiny, which is a prequel to Wolfenstein 3D. Now, Wolfenstein 3D has been ported to a number of other systems over the years, but these are probably the easiest places to buy it from today. I should also note that this is my first M-rated game recommended on the channel. In some ways, Wolfenstein 3D is fairly tame compared to some other M games that have released since then, but it does have some pretty gory moments, particularly around defeating bosses. Wolfenstein 3D is the grandfather of the first-person shooter or FPS genre of video games. It wasn't necessarily the first game to attempt first-person shooting, but it was the game that pretty much caused the genre to form after its popularity. Wolfenstein 3D took inspiration from an earlier game called Castle Wolfenstein that was more of a top-down stealth adventure game featuring Nazis. Wolfenstein 3D doesn't really do stealth though. It is purely about blasting through Nazis in order to get to the next level. There isn't a huge amount of story in Wolfenstein 3D, but there is some. The game is broken up into 6 different episodes. The first sees the hero, William B.J. Blazkowicz, trying to escape Castle Wolfenstein after being captured. Episode 2 has you facing off against a doctor who's attempting to create an army of mutants for the Nazis to use. And episode 3 sees you storming Hitler's secret bunker in order to take him out once and for all. Episodes 4 through 6 are actually a prequel trilogy where Blazkowicz is trying to find out about a Nazi plan to use chemical warfare and how he tries to put an end to it. However, all the story is rather light here. You get a little bit from reading some info in the menu and after defeating each of the episodes, but that's really about it. Most of the game is shooting Nazis and finding your way to the exit of each floor. Now, obviously for such an early FPS title, it is lacking a lot of what you'd expect in modern shooters. You can't really aim with too much precision, maps aren't exactly realistic, and you only get access to 4 weapons: a knife, pistol, submachine gun, and minigun. There are also dated mechanics, at least for the genre, like a scoring system for killing enemies and picking up treasures in a level, as well as bonuses for killing all enemies, finding all the secrets, or picking up all the treasure. There is also a lives mechanic as well that isn't really used in too many FPS games today. Despite being dated, I would still really recommend Wolfenstein 3D. I'm willing to admit that maybe this is just nostalgia on my part, but here are my reasons for why I would still recommend people giving Wolfenstein 3D a shot today. The first is that it's still a rather challenging, intense experience. Some of this I think is due to the dated mechanics I mentioned earlier, particularly the inability to aim with precision. Part of this is also due to the fact that you don't get regenerating health, but have to find health pickups on the map. You also can only hold a limited amount of ammo, and depending on your skill, you can run out of bullets quicker than you think, especially against more difficult enemies. These mechanics require a very different approach than in games where ammo is plentiful and health regenerates on its own after a short while. Now, there are difficulty levels that allow you to choose how hard you want the game to be at the start of your playthrough. I know I typically picked the next to hardest, and I wound up dying a handful of times over the course of the game. I did overall enjoy the difficulty though. Most of the time I died, it was on me or during the difficult boss battles. However, you can customize the difficulty to fit what you enjoy, since I know that not everyone loves the same level of challenge. Second, I still really enjoyed the music of Wolfenstein 3D. It just has some very memorable music to go along with the game. Not only is it memorable music that sticks with you, but it also really fits the theme and atmosphere of the game. There are ones that make you feel tense, others that capture the militaristic nature of Nazi Germany, and others that pump you up while you're doing battle. Even my wife, who isn't nearly the gamer that I am, but who played a little Wolfenstein 3D growing up, recognized the music as I was playing through it for this video. So that's just how memorable the music is from the game. Third, despite the dated mechanics, I find that the game holds up pretty well gameplay-wise. Now, admittedly, I did use a program called EC Wolf, which is an advanced source port that you can use instead of the DOSBox emulator that you get when you buy it from Steam. And it adds some improvements to controls, widescreen support, and even a minimap, which is super helpful. This definitely helps it run on more modern PCs and adds a few little tweaks that are nice, but still keeps the retro feel in place. This is, however, a PC-only thing, so if you do have Wolfenstein 3D on another platform, this won't be available. I will put the link down below, though, below so you can check it out if you're interested. Lastly, I also find Wolfenstein an interesting game that allows a lot of ways to approach it. You want to play through without saving as much as possible and use the live features? Go for it. You want to speedrun? Each level times you and makes that super easy. You want to go for high scores, trying to earn as many points as you can? It has a point system, so go crazy. You just want to play through it at your own pace, saving every so often? That's an option too. While the gameplay is limited due to a lack of weapons, lack of enemy types, and even a very simple maze-like map design, there are many ways that you can approach the game depending on your own playstyle, which I find very interesting. I tend to be more of the points completion kind of guy, or the play at my own pace kind of player, but there is a lot of room for other options supported within the game itself. Personally, I love going back and looking at old games and seeing how they hold up. Sometimes games that were super important for the development of a genre or a new mechanic can really not hold up that well as you go back and look at them. However, Wolfenstein 3D is a game that I can still go back to and enjoy. It is a product of its time, so don't go back expecting modern aspects of the FPS genre. However, if you can approach it for what it is, I think you'll be able to appreciate Wolfenstein 3D, and that's why I'm giving it one of my gold stars. Thanks for watching this video. I have a number of other video game recommendations available on my channel, and I'm always working to make more videos like this, as well as other types of video game content for the channel. If you enjoyed, please feel free to subscribe so that you can be aware of when a new video gets published. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.